That thing up on the podcast.
And while you're doing that, you need to run that volume all the way to the side.
And you can hear Adam with us tomorrow after 8 a.m. Eastern talking about Matthew Stafford. So Adam said what he said, which if Adam says it, it's true, and we obviously work off of that. In addition to that, the Rams have given quarterback Matthew Stafford's agent permission to speak with other teams about his market value, a source confirmed to ESPN on Saturday. News first reported by the NFL Network. So the sides have been discussing a reworked contract, but they're also allowed to kind of flirt with others to gauge the market for what it would be to sign Matthew Stafford long term. Before we get into where he could go and how many teams he could make legit Super Bowl contenders, I want to be on the record right now and saying on February 24th, 2025 at 6:33 a.m. Eastern time, I think Matthew Stafford is going to be on another team next year. There's too much smoke here. There's just too much smoke around this. Like it almost feels like the Rams want him to go somewhere else. I don't exactly understand why. It also feels like the Rams are a really smart team, so they probably have something up their sleeve, whether it's Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, one of the Vikings guys, maybe Aaron Rodgers for a year. I don't know, CC, but you've seen this as an 11-year NFL vet and now an NFL analyst and a talk show host for a long time. These kinds of things are like, you're allowing the flirting here. What's going on in your mind? And then if he is moved, how many teams does he make a legit Super Bowl contender?
Well, to answer the last question first, I think there are two teams that would clearly be Super Bowl contenders if their quarterback is Matt Stafford, the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, to the bit about the Rams allowing him to talk to other teams, to have the quarterback of your franchise talking to other organizations about possibly playing for them and what a reworked contract or a brand new contract would look like is absolutely ridiculous, especially if you know that quarterback is still capable of playing on a championship level. I think that Rams are trying to operate right now, and I'm not sure whether that's Les Snead, their general manager, or Sean McVay, their head coach, or a combination of the two. But there's no way you let a quarterback like Matt Stafford walk out of the building just because of money. Listen, the deal that you sign him to is probably not going to look great in 3 or 4 years from now, but who cares? You're the organization that coined the phrase picks. You didn't care about the future. It's all about trying to win in the here and now. And you got a quarterback that's capable of doing that, and especially with that young defense that's on the come, why would you think that the Rams couldn't take that next step next year? They were in the divisional round, one of the last 8 teams standing in the NFL playoffs. You're close. Why would you upset the apple cart with Matt Stafford in the interest of not wanting to pay him top dollar? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense to me either, unless there's something that we're not aware of that they have up their sleeve, because this is a team that feels like it's going to contend for the division again next year, be a playoff team, and actually compete for a Super Bowl. I think about what CC always says about having a quarterback that when they step out on that field, you know he's capable of those big moments. You know he's capable of winning, and how that permeates through a locker room and through an organization. And Matt Stafford not only has done that historically with the Rams, he did it last year. This was a team that because of injuries was inconsistent, and then once they found their way in the playoffs, look at the way that they played the Eagles on the road in the snow. Look at the way that these young pieces on the offensive side of the ball have come along, in part because of Matthew Stafford. He still has stuff left in the tank. He's won for you. He's entrenched in LA. I can't really understand or put my finger on why they would be so keen to let him chat with other teams, especially because it feels like they can win right now.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get, Smalls. I mean, you talked about it. The Rams started 1-4 this past season. 2 years ago, they started 3-6, and you're talking about this squad being in the postseason. That's what Matt Stafford is capable of doing, overcoming those slow starts. They are the opposite of the Cincinnati Bengals. They get out the slow starts all the time, but they always find themselves in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't understand why you would be so willing to allow the guy to walk out of the door just because you can't come to an agreement on what a new contract would look like. If you got to pay the guy $55 million a year, so what? You know it's going to be a bad deal on the back end, but that doesn't matter if that gives you an opportunity over the next 2 seasons to try to compete for a championship. Now, to the part about having something up their sleeve, I struggle to see what quarterback would be out there to be had that would make this team closer to a championship than what Matt Stafford is bringing to the party? I don't see it. Like, we've heard speculation about Sam Darnold in free agency, Aaron Rodgers potentially going there if Matt Stafford is dealt. I don't think either one of those quarterbacks puts you closer to a championship in 2025. And if that's the case, then why are you willing to deal him?
I totally agree with what you're saying. The up the sleeve was more for the long haul than the short term. Let's do it this way for a second, because I'm in agreement with what you guys are saying, and I've just said I don't see any reason to believe he's going to be back. Let's do it this way. Tell me something the Rams have done this offseason with Matthew Stafford that would make you believe they do want him back.
Well, they're having conversations about a reworked deal. So that's a step in a positive direction.
But if you're dating, not you, Michelle, but if a person is dating someone and they really like the person and they're like, yeah, why don't you date a bunch of other people first? Do you really like the person? I mean, you like them so much, like, not to go old school, but like, you want to go steady, you want to be like you want to be exclusive, whatever it is. You don't say, yeah, go date everyone else first, please.
Get it out of your system.
I mean, what are we doing? Getting it out of your system. He's a decade into his career plus. This is not like, I get it, it's your first time, exploring playing for another team. Go flirt if you want. All the Rams have done is let you know that they're okay if he goes somewhere else.
And by the way, this isn't like a Viking Sam Darnold thing where you could make the comp that they're dating. They're married. They won a Super Bowl together.
They're going steady.
Yeah, you're going steady if you win a Super Bowl together. No, like, you're entrenched in that organization.
And the Vikings thing, the Vikings have Sam Darnold's replacement ready to go, whether you think he's as good as Sam Darnold or not. The Rams,
They have a plan.
have Jimmy Garoppolo, but I don't think he's replacing Matthew Stafford long term. At least on the field.
Nah, but here's what the Rams are doing. And this is not uncommon with NFL teams. They're actually allowing Matt Stafford to explore the market just so Matt Stafford can see that there's nothing better than what he already got going on with the Rams. That's what this is about. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested? Well, do you really want to go to Pittsburgh? Is it going to be a better city? Is it going to be a better quality of life? Are you guaranteed to get better coaching than what you already got? Do you want to go to Minnesota? All of the same questions I just asked, but just apply it to an NFC North team. Like, that's what they're doing. They're trying to bring Matt Stafford closer to the number that they're comfortable paying him, because they want to keep an eye toward the future and make sure they maintain maximum cap flexibility to re-sign all of the young talent that they have on that team. And then, oh, by the way, when Matt Stafford is done, they can pivot quickly and find another quarterback and keep the thing pushing. That's what they're trying to do. They're hedging their future salary cap with the here and now, and they're trying to protect that. I just don't understand why they're being so forward-thinking with the finances when this is a franchise that has always been about the here and now. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's a risk.